Hello everyone, welcome to the Canadian Edge. Time for another knife review. We're going to be looking at another CRKT knife today. And this one is the CRKT 7403 Kommer Fulcrum. And it's a little different knife in how it opens. We'll be looking at that in a few moments. It's a good looking knife. You can see it's got nice colored scales on the handle there, and it's a very elegant looking knife. It has the stainless steel bolsters and stainless steel liners on it, and it has a pocket clip that only goes on the right hand carry, and it is kind of a deep carry pocket clip. And it does stick out quite a bit. You can see on the side there, it protrudes out quite a bit, but it doesn't seem to affect the way it handles. And it actually helps in the opening of the knife. And as I say, we'll be looking at that in just a few moments. It is a liner lock as well. And I guess we may as well just get right into what makes this knife a little different. To open this knife, and I've handed it to a few people and they've tried to figure out how to open it. Doesn't have any thumb studs on it, no flipper tabs on it, no nail groove on it, or nail nick. But what you do, and the reason it's called the fulcrum, you push forward on that side of the scale and push back, and the blade pops into place. So it's not necessarily a quick opening knife, but it is a fun knife to open. And this has a blade length of 2.75 inches. Overall, it's 6.25 inches, and closed, it's 3.9 inches. The steel on the blade is AUS 8 or AUS 8, and it's been around for quite a while. The AUS 8, it's a reliable steel. It's easy to sharpen. It doesn't hold an edge quite as long as S30V or D2 or that, but it's still a reliable steel. These knives are discontinued by CRKT. They no longer make them, but I believe you can still find them online and that at different places. It does have partial open spine, and you can see they've carried, well, maybe you can't see, my lighting isn't as great as it should be. The spacer in the back here is the same. It's a plastic composite scale, so it's the same as the scales, and it's a nice blue-black color as well, so it just gives it a little bit of a more elegant design. And you can see that the bolsters do have a knurling on them for a grip when you're hanging on to it, and also the screws there give it a bit of grip. And as I was saying about the pocket clip, you can see that it does make it a little easier because you hook your finger on the pocket clip, and then when you push forward on that side of the handle, it just gives you something to purchase, and then the knife opens. That was one of the things, well, the main thing that attracted me to this knife, other than it's a good looking knife, is the way that it opens. I thought that was an unusual way to open a knife, and I was right. It is an unusual way to open a knife. And you can see maybe on this side, if I bring it up, get my light right, it does have Kommer Fulcrum on there, patent pending. So yes, they no longer make this knife. It is discontinued, and I think partially just because the design, it's, you know, it's kind of an oddity. It makes for a good conversation piece and that, but I'm not as quick as some people. I have seen other people open this knife quite quickly. And unfortunately, to adjust, they put the pivot screw underneath the pocket clip, so if you want to adjust it, because you can see it doesn't quite line up down the middle. It's off to one side a little bit, so if you wanted to adjust, you'd have to take the pocket clip off to get to the screw, and I just haven't felt the need to do that, so I haven't done it. This isn't an everyday carry knife for me, although it could be. You could easily use this as an everyday carry, but it's just a knife that I thought looked cool, and so I picked one up. And that is one of the things that I like about it. I do like the aesthetics of it. It is a nice looking knife. It attracts attention when you have it out. People do notice it and think it looks good. I like the fulcrum system on it. It's something a little different, a little unusual that you don't often see on knives. And the size of it, I like the size. It's a fairly good size knife. It's a mid-size knife. If you compare it to the Ontario Rat 2, you can see they're almost the same size. Let's put it this way. It sits flatter. The Ontario Rat 2 is a little bit bigger, and the Benchmade Mini Griptilian, basically the same size. So they're a mid-size knife, and I like the size of it. It's a good size for in the pocket. Fits in the pocket nicely. It doesn't have much to catch on the pocket. As you can see, the mounting screws are on the outside. There is that pivot screw there, but being it's rounded, it doesn't really interfere with the pocket, and because you have such a pronounced rise there, it doesn't interfere when it's in your pocket. It might add a little wear and tear in your pocket having that pivot screw there, but nothing serious. So it does sit in the pocket quite nicely, and you don't really notice it's in there, and it's a good weight. The weight of it is 2.7 ounces. I forgot to mention that when I was saying about it. So it is a good little knife, and sharp wise, what does it do? It is still fairly sharp. You can see it cuts through the paper quite easily, and as I say, I don't use it as an everyday carry. It's more of a going out. Oh, jeepers, cut that very easily. How about this string? Should cut through this without any problem. Yep. And through the nylon cord, it should cut that quite easily as well. Pull it back. Yep. So it does come with a good sharp edge on it that you can use immediately. And CRKT they're reliable knives. I really like CRKT knives. I've got a few of them in my collection, and very happy with the knives. They're good, reliable. The only thing that you might find with this, if you had to use it in the rain or something like that, probably find that this would be a little slippery. Or if you have sweaty hands, it might be a little on the slippery side. But just for everyday use, if you're opening a letter or opening a box and that, you shouldn't have any problem. It fits quite well into the hand. And it does have a little bit of a curved design to it, so the ergonomics are that if you're hanging on to it this way, you're pushing down. So it'd be good for slicing open, like I say, boxes or letters or things like that. It does give you a bit of an ergonomic leverage towards that type of thing. And yeah, you can see the blade kind of points downward. So you could, as I say, use this as an everyday carry if you were really inclined to, or not. But they are a nice knife. They're fun to play with, and they do provide a bit of conversation at the table if you have them out. People like to try them or figure out how to open them if you don't tell them. It does make for some interesting attempts. So that is the CRKT Kommer Fulcrum. And as I say, they're discontinued, but you can still find some of them online, and they do come with different colored scales that you can get as well. So thank you for joining me on this review. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit a like, leave a comment, and be sure to subscribe. And I'll be doing another review in a few days. But until then, you stay safe and stay sharp.